Ooh. Okay. Wow. Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna this is my face in the sunlight. Oh my gosh. This is my face in the sunlight. And this is me. Okay, I think for the sake of my retinas, I'm going to be back here. Although that glow is like absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Yeah. Hello, skin. Hello, glow. All right. Um, but yeah, so welcome. I'm Lauren, and welcome to the official Lauren Brown channel. And glad to have you here. If you're returning, welcome back. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this amazing book. It's by Roach, and it's called How to Build a Fashion Icon: Notes on Confidence from the World's Only Image Architect. I suggest you check this out, links in the description. But before we get into that, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification bell as well, all your notifications as well. Be sure to follow me on Fanbase, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok. Links are also in the description. And comment below your thoughts on random points, whatever you feel here. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why? As far as Roach's career, I've really enjoyed following what he has been doing. I knew of him when he started working with Zendaya, but he has also worked with K. Michelle and Celine Dion and Savannah James and a host of other entertainment figures. You know, I think truly an image architect is probably the most accurate description of Roach, in my opinion. He is a trend setter, but I think that's kind of putting it. Truly, what he does is create these moments around people he is styling that encapsulate both them and whatever their focus is. If it's that they're dressing for a movie premiere and there's a certain character that they, you know, are playing and kind of theming the client's appearances to that, or if it's someone like Celine Dion, who is an icon on her own, but wanted to switch up and refresh and reinvigorate her already iconic status with clothing that was avant-garde, not necessarily what you'd be immediately thinking of her in. I think what he did with Celine Dion made Celine an icon that you can touch, an icon that is real and exciting and interesting and spunky. What I love about Law's approach to styling specifically is that there is a sense of humor. There's a sense of like he's communicating a story. It's an interaction with the audience and with the figure that he's dressing. I'm really inspired by the creativity. Now, the book, How to Build a Fashion Icon, is not a memoir. It's a how to think like an icon, how to put yourself in the mindset of someone who becomes iconic. It says notes on confidence, and I would say that the advertising is true. One of the things that I found very comforting in his book is that he embraces his own multivariateness, that he doesn't stick to just one thing. And much like when he retired, shifting gears from just celebrity styling into schools of style, educating people on style, informing people in books like this, he has embraced in his career pivots, going from owning a vintage store to going to between LA and New York to be a stylist. He didn't box himself into one thing saying, this is what people know me for, this is what I'm going to be. And I find that very inspiring, especially as someone who is looking to expand what I do. He talks about as well being somebody who has multiple things that they bring to the table, has not so obvious a path, or maybe a more untraditional or unique path. How do you gain confidence? How do you hold that and step forward boldly as yourself? You'll see it even in the book here. Like, he has these really great quote pullouts where he says, confidence is not necessarily determined by the people around you. Don't wait for people to validate you. I loved this book. I also loved the audiobook. This is definitely a book I'm going to keep and reference a lot. I really can't state enough how empowering it is to listen to. It felt like a conversation with him because he is reading it. He narrates his own book, but he's just reminding you of simple things. Some of the headings here are how you talk to yourself matters. It's true. This is a quote. It's true. How you speak to yourself affects not only your daily mood, but it can transform the way you see yourself. Start by monitoring your inner dialogue throughout the day. Replace any self-criticism and negative self-talk with positive affirmations. Replace self-doubt with self-compassion. And remind yourself of your strengths and accomplishments. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I will do my best and I can learn from any mistakes. Remember, don't compare yourself to anyone. What's for you is for you, and there's only one of you. Live and excel in that fact. If that does not fill you with the keys to resilience, I don't know what does. None of us can predict the future. None of us knows what the future will look like, but I think we all have a hope for what the future looks like, and we want it to be something good and positive. And I think this reminder here is really important. Talk to yourself with compassion, going forth and saying, I'm going to do my best and I will learn from any mistakes. That is how I do my best to build resilience as a person trying and failing and winning and losing like any human does. I love that with Law, because he went from having his vintage store, and then he had to take a leap of faith to go to Los Angeles and say, you know what, I'm gonna be a full-time stylist, and I'm gonna not just try to be a random stylist in the industry. He had ambitions for himself, and his ambition was, I want to be a celebrity stylist. I wanna be like what I see out there with Rachel Zoe. He's someone who has lived the experience of pivoting and having to be resilient, having to reinvent himself. He talks about acknowledging your strengths, vocalizing your strengths. His personality comes through in this quote, vocalize your strengths. Now say out loud what you want to believe. Share your wins and accomplishment vocally with others. It may feel uncomfortable at first to walk into a party and say, damn, I look good today. Or to sit at your family dinner and start by saying, I did really good today. But it's important. Start by vocalizing to yourself in the mirror, and then do so with others. People will start to see you as you see yourself. And most importantly, you'll start to believe it even if you don't at first. Vocalizing my wins. I'm still working on that. But I know that I wrote 2 books. No one wrote them for me. You know, I had to plot that, working on the 3rd and working on a separate book. That is a poetry book. I'm excited. I write evocative stories, provocative stories, things that incite feeling and take you on a journey. You know, my adventure novels aren't just these static things that happened in the past. I wrote work that is about feeling and experiencing it, having your own kind of firsthand experience with the writing. And both of those novels are linked in the description box. Rafe and Rose, The Death Letter, and Rafe and Rose, World on Fire are available for purchase. You can have them as a Kindle or paperback. Vocalizing your strengths. I'm an excellent writer. I'm an excellent communicator. I think I have great style. I really love business. I love being creative, being an entrepreneur. I really want to have my own businesses. I am inspired by artists. I'm inspired by creatives. I'm inspired by lifestyle entrepreneurs like Miranda Kerr, Jasmine Tooks. I'm inspired by Martha Stewart. I'm inspired by Megan, of course. I'm inspired by Serena Williams and the way that Serena did fashion and athletics, and I love fashion. Yeah, I think I have great style, I have great taste. I have an amazing work ethic. I am extremely thoughtful. I am poised and articulate. I am able to communicate with different groups. I can be haughty if I need to, and I can also be really relaxed and connect. I enjoy being able to connect across different groups. I think it's an advantage that I'm open-minded and I'm able to hold space for different concepts and ways of being. One of my great advantages is I don't compromise the things I value. Being thoughtful or kind, but not nice. I see myself as a confident person. I'm a human being, I'm not perfect. I think my core is confident. I know that the things that ring true for me tend to also be about positive things that inspire confidence and resilience in me. So I think I am a resilient person. I bounce back from struggles, difficulties, challenges with inventiveness. I'm highly creative. I am a great problem solver, a really good listener. I like to learn things. I love to break things apart to understand them. You don't need to do that literally. Sometimes, yes, but not really. You know, for me, the way I look at something, I can look at something in its entirety, and then it just makes sense to me how it was built layer by layer. And I I attribute that to years of looking at blueprints for like houses and developments just as a hobby and a thing that my family liked to do. And excuse any noise in the background and the changing light. We're right here with natural light from the window. I'm just taking a page literally out of Law's book here and vocalizing my strengths. And I encourage you to do it too, and comment below what your strengths are. What are the things that you know you can do, that you know you have going for you? I think my adaptability, my ability to come up with creative solutions to solve problems in unique environments and under unique constraints. I don't know if that's the engineering experience where it's like the constraints also kind of give you this added dimension that allows you to be creative. But I also love that I'm a free thinker, creative as well. I can just be given a blank missive and from there develop a roadmap. I'm really good at building my own roadmaps for things, which is both a benefit and the experience can be quite a sucky one when you don't. Sometimes you just want someone to be able to say, here's the next step, you know, but that's where I come with books like this. I try to learn from others, their expertise, their how-to. And even if their industry isn't directly related to mine, I can take something from it. I'm just really hoping I can find a book written by Melody Hobson somewhere. That would be awesome because I admire that woman so much. I hope I get to meet her one day. Yeah, I think she's awesome. And I love that her story has been one of growth while being in one organization for the majority of her work life. Yes, she's obviously been on the boards of things and involved broadly, you know, over time, but you know, I think she's living proof that coming from a long-term experience in an industry or a space does not cause you to be limited. Any job that you have, especially as you have it over time, your responsibilities increase and change, requires that you do internal pivots and external pivots. It requires that you add to your information. It requires that you increase your wisdom. So being able to learn from people who are excellent in their field, whether it is in fashion or finance, technology or healthcare, she is an example of that. I truly want to meet Melody Hobson and be able to just hear her perspective. My dream is she becomes a mentor. My dream is also to meet Law Roach and not just in a meet and greet. I want to have dinner with him one day. I just want to hear what he has to say, what he's learned. I bought this book, multiple versions, the audio version and this physical version, because I love the way he thinks. I love this kind of universal approach. I love that he's one of the few stylists who will talk to you about the business side of it. I'm always interested in the business side. How does this person make money? For me, it's really important to make money. I have spent a lot of time and invested a lot of time, and being able to make a living is something that I'm really just now learning how to do properly. And, you know, I say that humbly and with no shame or anything, but that's kind of just been the journey. Again, when you are a fully internally financed situation, you're sacrificing a lot, and I have sacrificed a lot because of the values that I hold. And one of those values that I hold is now expanding financially, increasing my financial health, learning about different businesses, not only how they monetize, how do you maximize the value you offer and maximize your profit? How do you maintain quality control, and how do you strategically approach things? I'm looking to focus on myself and my well-being financially, emotionally, personally. And I love that Law does not hide how much by changing someone's financial situation you change their life. Please go buy the Rafe and Rose books. You are contributing to my financial situation and changing my life. I want to share my journey. I want to make it worth something. Part of my purpose is to bring inspiration. I want to create a kind of universe where people who are aspiring and ambitious are able to be encouraged and inspired. It's important for me to understand how excellent people have done it, because I want to bring that same excellence in my own work. I have to have the money to fund it. Law, he talks about that. He has courses on it. You know, celebrate the small wins. I am celebrating the small wins down to the fact that I'm driving now after I had so many years of dealing with trauma as it relates to cars due to witnessing a terrible accident as a child. I count it as a win. Like me going to get Gus, you all don't understand what a win that was. That was huge for me and huge for Gus too. I realized that just by talking about my strengths it starts to become more clear to me what I want to do in life. He goes into his own story a bit. Quote, "For me, I grew up in Chicago, moving around the south side of the city, mostly near 79th Street and Essex in the South Shore. I have 4 younger siblings and we were raised by my mother." And so he goes into his story and you really get to understand him, where he's coming from, why he does what he does, and some of the elements of his confidence, where it comes from. Kind of a quote is, "Don't wait on anyone to tell you what you are worth. You have to be the first person who knows what you are worth and can say what you are worth." And all of us are value stratospheric, okay? And I love that he says this here. I don't just create looks, I create moments. Again, that's part of why he's an image architect. He's not just, some guy who, beautiful childhood photos and things. He's not just some guy who, dresses people and that's it. When you witness a client of his, you experience what they look like. You don't just see clothes. And there are some important reminders here. He says, "It's important to remember that fear will not kill you." And I think for me, as I'm in this phase of pivoting, looking for work, and Law Roach's How to Build a Fashion Icon Notes on Confidence, you definitely get the experience of how you push past fear and remind yourself of your strengths so that you can be the fashion icon you want to be. I highly suggest, if you want to, if you're looking for it, that you read this book. I ask that you remember to like this video, comment below, and let me know, have you read How to Build a Fashion Icon? And what did you learn? Also, are you interested in getting the book? What are your own experiences with resilience and your strengths and your own fears, and how do you overcome them? What do you remind yourself of to get you through those? So yeah, like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications, and all of my links to my social media, as well as my novels, which I thank you very much in advance for purchasing, are linked below. Have the best everything until I see you next time. Bye.